Hi there. I'm going to share a big misconception that I had when I was starting my UX career over half a decade ago. And it was the naive idea that users of a product are a homogeneous set of people that share pretty much the same goals, needs, and characteristics. After all, they all came to use the product, so they must all expect it to work in the same way. They would all have a common objective and a common understanding of how the product works to achieve that objective. Obviously, there would be some dissimilarities, like demographics, physical capabilities, and technical proficiency. But I thought the differences stopped there. Of course, my UX research career proved to me that users, as humans, are never that straightforward. Humans are unique and intricate beings. Not one is created equal to another. We all have our own life stories, beliefs, and preferences. Our minds perceive stimuli differently, and our bodies react to those stimuli differently too. In other words, what one might perceive to be easy might be perceived to be difficult by another. And this is why getting to know your users, like really getting to know them, is paramount. How one type of user uses your product can be vastly different from how another type of user uses it. And the types of users that exist can be numerous, and it's impossible to serve all of them. But with proper segmentation, you can identify the prevailing types or segments that matter most. For instance, the type that use or purchase your product most often, the type that convert the most, and those that return to use or purchase your product. My name is Charles Novabos, and in this talk, I'll be speaking about how segmentation allowed me to get better acquainted with my user base, thus giving me crucial context into why some of our users behave a certain way on our site. If you're curious to know more about your users, segmentation may be the tool for you. What is segmentation? Segmentation is a process of dividing users into groups based on common characteristics like demographics, psychographics, and behaviors. Companies use segmentation to deliver personalized experiences that appeal to the identified segments, hence increasing user engagement and loyalty. There are many ways to segment your users. Sometimes the groupings can even be obvious, like beginner and pro users, B2B and B2C, and desktop or mobile users. But more meaningful segments often spring from user attitudes, motivations, and behaviors. Let's take Uber Eats, for example. Possible segments can be customer, driver, and merchant users. Every segment has a unique user experience on the app because they have unique goals. And so every segment must be catered to carefully. And within these segments, there could be sub-segments. How you should segment your users ultimately depends on what you want to know about your users and what your users want from you. To help you understand the segmentation process, I'll share examples from my own experience at Fix.com. But first, let me give you some context of who Fix.com is so that you can relate with my scenarios. At Fix.com, we help people fix their broken appliances and outdoor equipment through our wide range of replacement parts. We're essentially an e-commerce platform. Users go to our site, search for the particular part that they need for their repairs, purchase that part, and then we ship it to them. We're like Amazon, but specifically for replacement parts. Let me go back to my story about my big misconception. On the surface, you might think that our user base is generally technical, meaning they can handle repairs. You might label them as DIYers or handymen. After all, they have accessed a pretty technical site that no ordinary human being should be wondering about in. You might think that all of our users are not afraid to loosen screws, open a few panels or doors of their appliance, and peer into the depths of the machine's interior with a flashlight. True, majority of our user base has some degree of technical knowledge. In fact, some of them are so advanced that they already know the specific replacement part to purchase when they come to our site. Whether it's a simple refrigerator door handle or a tiny spark plug for a chainsaw. Obviously, they're the most ideal user segment. For purposes of this talk, let's call this segment experts, the cream of the crop. The experts come to our site fully motivated and require the least amount of assistance in purchasing, which means they are highly likely to convert. If you're in a department store, they are the no-nonsense type of customers that know what they want. They come in, grab the item, and then leave. They are the type who gets annoyed when a store assistant approaches them. Now that we've characterized the expert segment, let's try to examine their behavior on the site so we can draw patterns. The experts are responsible for highly specific part number searches. They tend to follow a more linear path across the site until checkout, with little to no backtracking. They're least likely to consume our how-to videos and are less concerned about our customer reviews and repair stories. As esteemed as they are, they don't comprise our user base as much as we would have wanted. A recent survey that I did revealed that only about 25% of our user base are experts, which means a huge 75% are non-experts. Non-experts come to our site because their washing machine is leaking or their blender is going slower than usual. Do they know what part needs replacing? Most likely not. After all, not everyone who owns a car knows how to repair it. But they are confident that something is wrong with their appliances. Back to our department store analogy, they would walk into the store and proactively approach the store assistants for help and recommendations. So how do non-experts typically behave on our site? Naturally, they tend to follow a more erratic path, visiting several pages including help topics and how-to videos. They are responsible for vaguer search keywords like Samsung refrigerator stopped working and air conditioner is noisy. They rely heavily on our customer reviews and repair stories. They would be more apprehensive before checking out to make sure that the part they are buying is actually the one that fixes the problem and is also compatible with their appliance. This is where the challenge of helping them identify and find the parts that they need on our site begins. Because if we can get them to convert, they will be our most profitable customer segment. So the big question is, how might we lead non-experts to purchase from us with confidence? According to my recent survey, if we break down the non-experts, we will see that about 50% actually knows the model number of their appliance. This is a fantastic finding, and I'll explain how this is extremely useful. If a customer knows the model number of their appliance, we can easily show them parts that are compatible with their appliance. So it makes filtering their searches easier. And if they want to query whether a certain part fits their appliance, we can easily check the compatibility using their model number. So it does look like there is a way to lead these non-experts to the path of success after all. And if we had not done the survey to know them better, we would not know how many of them exist and how to help them. I consider this a testament to the value of user segmentation. When you generalize or extrapolate about your users, you're basically making unreliable assumptions. And unverified assumptions can lead to misled decisions. Now that I have given you practical examples of how I used segmentation and the new knowledge it afforded me, it is time for you to reflect upon your own situation. How much do you know about your users? How might you group them into actionable segments? User segmentation, if done properly, can be your key to unlocking unrealized business potential. It uncovers opportunities that you can use to fulfill your mission of being champions for your users. Stay curious.